I'm standing in front of our kitchen door. You wouldn't think it's a kitchen door, you think it's like a barn door. It was supposed to last for about a year when Magnus first built it, but now it's lasted about 15 years and it's on its last legs. I am going to be doing a tour of our off-grid homestead, and I will be showing you what I consider to be the key proponents of our place. So the first place I want to show you guys is the area right outside our house. It used to be the main production area for vegetables, but we since have better land for that. So I have unfortunately let this area grow wild because I didn't have time to manage the land. What are you doing? You're trying to get Lua. Lua, don't go down to the canal. Bloody hell, don't follow Lua. Lua, don't go down to the canal because you'll die. So my idea here in the future is to put in a lot of perennials. I'm thinking kind of like a Japanese style garden. Put up a pergola, put up a play area for Frey. There is a canal which runs right along the garden. It is really, really dangerous. You would not, even as a grown human, want to fall in because you would struggle to get yourself out unless you're really, really fit. So yeah, I want to run maybe 1 or even 2 fences and kind of sacrifice some of the area here and work uphill and not so much downhill. And that's simply because if I'm sat out here relaxing, I want to keep my eye on my kids, my toddlers, but I don't necessarily want to have to sprint to get them before they get too close to the canal. I am currently along the canal where we keep our hydro turbine, which is just behind me here. It is currently sitting on the canal. We are going to move it further downhill so that we can get more electricity. Basically, we take water from way up the mountain in a big tube, comes down to the turbine, and yeah, and that's how we make our electricity. There is a bit of a leak right now, and like I said, it is on rotten wood. So we do have, in the very near future, a lot of work to be doing on the hydro turbine. What? We're gonna go down.
She's gonna fall out. Oh no. Don't fall, Toodles. Oh no. Whoa. That's fine now too. No, there's a banana tree. Oh! No, stop eating the banana. You must stop doing it. You gotta just enter a banana.
I'm now showing you the land that sits between the house and the river. We mostly just focus on cultivating the chestnuts. So behind me is this chestnut tree, which I imagine is between 50 to 100 years old. It gives us so many chestnuts, and they're not the tiny ones, they're huge. So they're really worth harvesting, and we tend to just fill the freezer with them to last us for about a year, and then we harvest again the following year and do the same again. We do have also wild loquats that we harvest in May, and strawberry guavas that we do in November, December. But really we're just focusing on cleaning around the perimeter of the chestnut tree to make sure that it gets more healthy and it branches out over the land and not the river, because the chestnut tree, it does sit hanging over the river, so a lot of the chestnuts fall inside the river, which isn't so good. We also like to come down here in summer with the kids, because it's just a way for us to get out of the sun. It cools us off. We throw some rocks, we have a paddle around. We don't go swimming because it is in summer just full of algae. It's green. In winter it runs clear, but in summer it's just, there's too much algae. So yeah, I think that's because of the fertilizers and the cattle farming and stuff. So we paddle, but we don't swim. I would like to in the future put more flowers down here, more perennials, just make it a little bit more pretty. Maybe put some more cherimoyas down here, and we also have a section of land where we have some citrus trees growing. It's very steep, but yeah, we'll see how they do basically. This very old looking building behind me is the battery house. It's where we store our batteries, our electricity system, our farm tools, anything we don't want to get wet basically. Gonna keep it really simple because I don't know anything about electronics at all. I know that I am not allowed to let a cat inside, because if a cat knocks over some of the fuel or the oil or something, the whole thing could just explode, which is very dangerous. I think Magnus built it maybe 10-12 years ago, and it's still standing. It's still waterproof. He built it using cryptomeria wood, not treated, I don't think. I think he painted like a little bit of tar to prevent any rotting at the base, but other than that, no waterproofing, no finish. He used recycled materials for the roof, and yeah, tried to do things with a very limited budget, but he needed a place to keep his tools and his batteries. The batteries have lasted about 14 years now, I think, so they are due to be replaced and buffered up. We need more batteries basically, but like anyone knows, they are really heavy, and we're not so sure about lithium ion batteries either. They have lasted a lot longer than what most people would think batteries would last. Yeah, that's the battery house. Alright, this is where we compost everything. We use humanure here. So we have to bring our toilet bucket up the concrete stairs, and we dump it in this one here right now. And you can see on the far side, that one is finished. Currently using that for the garden. In this climate, because we're in the subtropics, it takes, I'd say, about a year, maybe a little bit longer, for everything to compost down and for it to be used in the garden. Frey is currently just filling up the geese bass, but I do have to make them a bigger pond. It's not a usable area right now, but we will at some point build a road all the way down to our house so that we can actually renovate the house. Right now we don't have the ability to renovate the house due to not having a road. It's not basically humanly possible. Not throwing. You understand? No throwing. this right here is where our road unfortunately ends. We built it last year with the help of a contractor. It's just a big concrete slab that replaced a very, very muddy area. It's helped us immensely in getting road access, but unfortunately our truck that you can see behind me with my toddler throwing things outside of the truck here, it's dead. It's been dead for a few months now. It's actually very, very difficult to find a mechanic on the island who can fix the truck. So we've ordered a part, we're going to try and fix it ourselves. And yeah, the truck is it's really essential for us to be able to do things on the farm. So not having a truck is proving to be very limiting as to what we can do. What are they doing?
Hi.
So I'm standing now in what is our main garden area. It's south facing, it's very well drained, and it's great for growing vegetables. We are going to focus this year on just growing vegetables that we actually like and that our toddler and us as a family we actually enjoy. So think about things like carrots, squash, broccoli, onions, maybe some sweet potatoes, definitely loads of tomatoes. Yeah, things that we actually enjoy eating. I don't want to see any chard, kale, radishes, none of these things that we personally don't enjoy. This land here used to be considered junk land, so it was full of eucalyptus trees, huge eucalyptus trees, acacia trees, lots of trees that grow fast here and they're invasive, but you really don't want to have them on your land. So being considered junk land, it was very, very cheap, and it's taken a lot of work without any machines, other than a chainsaw obviously, to dig out the roots, level the site, and just remove all of the forest basically to prepare it for a garden. And yeah, it looks pretty good. I think this year is going to be a super productive year for us now that Frey is 2. We are gonna just do a digging system, so we're not gonna do no dig or anything. I'm just gonna put some humanure compost down and make my gardens that way. We do have things like asparagus and raspberries here and a few other perennials, and we also have a guinea pen which we're going to repurpose into a playhouse for him. And I'm gonna put a swimming pool in there, and it's gonna be like a fun house while Mummy sweats in the garden. little cabin behind me is what I consider to be the most interesting part of our property and the most quirky, because it's been around for about 6 or 7 years. Magnus built it with a friend and it only cost them €500. And you might be thinking, our toddler's throwing sticks. You might be thinking, how can something this big only cost €500? And that's because on this really remote island, they somehow managed to use just recycled materials and lots of nails. In the past, this little cabin has hosted volunteers, what you would call woofers. Some people have said it's like living in a chicken coop. Other people have said it's, you know, it's like a dream house to live in. It lacks an outhouse, but it is actually quite cozy, it's quite functional. And on this island, we surprisingly have very little issues with insects. We weren't really sure what to do with this cabin, and being that we have a 2-year-old, we would potentially like to have more children in the future, and it's not really fair, in our opinion, to make teenagers, even if they just live with us for half the year, it's not really fair to make them live with annoying little kids. It's not really fair to make them live with toddlers. So, that being said, we are going to turn... Sorry, that's the Guinea Fowl being crazy. I am sorry. So that being said, we have hired a carpenter to help us turn this little cabin into an actually really cozy, really nice home for teenagers. Okay, I've moved into the cabin. My little toddler's walking around and I can't really remember where I left off. So, this cabin has hosted volunteers and woofers for around 5-6 years, in a very on and off way. We found that having volunteers and woofers, and I might go into a bit more detail with another video, it doesn't work for us. I can get stuff done so much faster without volunteers, typically. Sometimes you will get volunteers who are just incredible and you feel bad for not giving them enough. But then you get other volunteers that come to your farm and they don't want to do anything. They don't even want to use hand tools. Not a machete, not a hoe. They don't want to dig, they don't want to do the hard work. And at that point you're just like, I don't want to feed you, I don't want to give you anything. You're not going hiking, like why are you here? But then yeah, obviously you get the people who are just amazing and you're like, oh crap, like I wish I could give you more. We have to do boobies, don't we? I have to feed my toddler. So I'm just gonna wrap this up. Okay, so this cabin here is gonna have an interior wood walls. It's gonna have way more open, beautiful windows. We'll put in a TV, some bean bags, a mini fridge, a desk. We'll put down a rug so it's really nice and cozy. We might go so far in the future as to add a wood burner for the winter because it can get quite cold here. And we will also put in the beds upstairs. Yeah, and just give them electricity. They'll have solar powered electricity and they'll be able to charge it at the house too if there's not enough sun. There will be an area at the front of the cabin that is sheltered for their shoes and to get out of the rain when they're coming into their home.
Yeah.
You going?
Yeah.
The window's not there anymore, is it? Right. Where are the moo cows?
There.
They're across the road, aren't they? Okay, so Tiddles came to join us. That's the end of my tour. I hope you guys liked the tour of our off-grid homestead on a very remote island. If you'd like to see more content, please subscribe. I'll try when I'm not super busy juggling this guy and the homestead to make more videos, hopefully every single week.